Okay, test 1 2 1 2. Please let me know if this sounds about right. Been playing with the microphone a little bit more to make it work better. You hear me? Does the music too loud, or can you hear the music at all? How's it going, Radium? What's up, Phil? Yeah, Mim. What's up, guys? Test Fletch in the house. What's up, guys? Sorry for the technical difficulties. I thought I had everything going smooth, and you guys started chatting that frames were dropping, and for whatever reason my upload rate was like through the freaking roof and made no sense. But anywho, hope you guys are ready, and sorry for the technical difficulties. So welcome to the Rainbow Trends stream. This is your guy Runner, this guy behind Rainbow Theory, Rainbow Trends, and all that. Got a bunch of OGs in the Discord. If you're curious about where to find us or why any of the charts look crazy, this be why. You can find it out in the links. And I'm sorry, our ex-viewer, the charter, I can't post links in there yet. Thank you, Elon. Anyway, the stream is intended to be used for educational purposes, not to be used as financial advice. Even if you were to mistake this for financial advice, shame on you. This is awful financial advice. We're trading unicorns and rainbows. But anyway, check us out. Like I said, rainbow-trends.com. I do this in the intro because if anybody has any questions, just start watching the videos here. This is where we do a lot of tutorials and stuff like that. If you want to find out some of our friends and family, check us out at the bottom of the webpage. But the biggest thing is that big link at the top. We're going to stream for about an hour, and then we're going to go kick it off in the Discord about 9 o'clock, and then we'll do our Discord roundtable, where we open up the chart sessions to anybody, and we do an open mic, and we turn off the official recorded stream. But anyway, with that aside, we're ready to go. Glad you guys are here with us. We'll get going. First things first, there has been an ungodly amount of Discord scammers coming through, and they're people that aren't even in the Discord. So apparently there's people in the Discord writing down usernames, and then they reach out pretending to be me, and it's not me. So as a friendly reminder, I'll never DM you first, and I'll never try to offer you any type of payment paid services or copy trading or ask for any type of crypto payment ever through the Discord. So be very, very careful. These guys are getting really, really clever and checking in on people saying, hey, you're a new member. How are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And it looks just like me, right? Rainbow-Runner. Just click this and make sure it's not, you can see if it's me or not. I've actually changed my name in the Discord to be Runner, open quote, I won't DM you first. So just stay on your toes, because I feel awful because these people have actually run off some people from our Discord, and I'm quite upset. So only way I'll ever ask for money is through the actual website, and that's only if you want to sign up for our premium tools. So anyway, moving on. Scammers, F in the chat got my guy 9K pretty bad. When I say pretty bad, over 500,000 bad. And I'm gonna post the link to this tweet in the channels. Actually, shoot, I'm actually not posting that to everything. Let me retweet that, and that'll go to Twitch and YouTube. I'm streaming on 3 different things right now. But anyway, this really sucks, and it was really clever what they did. Basically, long story short, he did a Google sign-in into a fake Indeed website, and they were able to hijack his login session with Google. And basically they were able to take that session and the cookies, and then they were able to log into his Google account and then backdoor malicious Google Chrome add-ons. It's a really long, complicated thing, but they were able to actually get past the 2FA, two-factor authentication that Google offers. And it's kind of scary, actually really scary. It really sucks. This really hurt my guy. But he goes in details. Instead of just throwing the computer out the window and never talking to any of us again, he actually shares the lessons learned here, of what he learned about OPSEC through this and how they got him. I thought 2FA was legit, couldn't be messed with, especially the Google ones, and this just proved no, not at all. And Google's kind of quietly trying to fix this, but in the meantime, you can get destroyed here. 2FA, seed keys, everything got compromised. Absolutely awful. So I know this is a sad thing to talk about. So we'll switch the mood up a little bit and go back and shout out to 9K, show them some love. So I saw this week, and this is one of the funniest things I saw on Twitter besides the sad start explosion, which I'm not going to cover because it was quite explicit. But Monero has been delisted from a few of the central exchanges, and the guy notes it increases privacy, which is true. It's technically true. But let's get to it. If you haven't noticed, for the 6th time this month, it's been over and over, and it's over. It's over. And we got the halving 8 days out, I think, is at this point. April 18th, April 19th is kind of the date I've seen floated around. It's gonna fluctuate, but regardless, it's coming next week. There's not really the fluctuation's not gonna be terrible. Up until that point, it's not like it's gonna be pushed out another week or something, unless Ordinals update and do something crazy. But I'm kind of joking there. But moving on. I'm happy. I'm okay. Bitcoin's above $70,000. All my it's overs are clustering. I apologize. But we're still at the all-time high order block with Barry Silbert dumping on us repeatedly, and the price has not gone crazy and capitulated. A lot of people are really, really worried that price is randomly going to nuke 30%, and we'll go over that in a minute. But for the most part, the biggest whales in the world, pretty much right now, they're still consuming overall, and they're eating Bitcoin continuously. Like, there's 15,000 million. Sorry, the math's crazy when you look at it this way. Is in BlackRock. Fidelity's like 8,000. It's a ton of freaking money. And Grayscale has been bleeding. And yesterday we had the lightest Grayscale selling of all time since they've been dumping. They only dumped 18 million yesterday. Not yesterday. No, yes, yesterday. And then this is, hold on. I'm looking, that's the total. My bad. Here we go. There it is. Yesterday was negative 17.5 million. Sorry, that really threw me off. Which is the lowest we've ever seen from Grayscale, which is really, really cool because we've been looking for this crucial bleed point to where Barry quits bleeding. Grayscale's not going to go to zero. Albeit they're halfway there. They started out with like 600,000 Bitcoin and they're down to like the 300s, low 300s. We know at some point though, they are going to stop net outflowing. And that's going to be awesome because we have the halvening. I don't have the halvening date up here. I thought I did. The halvening's come up of like 8 days. Grayscale is bleeding out. And at some point on this calendar, Grayscale is going to bleed out entirely. So this is my, what's up, Sean? My Operation Bleed Grayscale Out scale, and I've been tracking the numbers manually of the Bitcoin that Grayscale has and that they've been bleeding out. And so far, it's started out like 620, 610,000, and now they're down to like 315. And then if we project the average bleed rate as of now, Grayscale goes to zero by July 18th. If we look at 125 million outflows per day, that's like September. 100 million takes us to October, 75 million takes us to January of 2025, and then if we only bleed out at 50 million, that takes us out to like May of 2025. So long story short, we're pretty much within 12 months of this going to zero, which we know it's not. So somewhere in here, it's going to go sideways. We know it's not going to touch zero, and it definitely can't go below zero. So somewhere inside this window between July and May of next year, like it's guaranteed we're in the bag. Now, we very well may bottom here in like May, and that's it. We only get to like 250,000 Bitcoin in the Grayscale before they stop. And when they slow down, they're also going to start to release the fees and back the fees off. So once they back the fees off, that's also going to help out with people staying here and not continuing to bleed. Because frankly, this move here has been like 15, 20 times more than what the miners have been dumping since the start of these ETFs. So It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Now, what are other people looking for? They're calling, like I said, they keep, everyone's on edge because they keep calling for a 30% drawdown, right? Which would take us to exactly like 49,000. We'll just call it 50. Whatever. We'll just call it like 50, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to be exactly whatever, a perfect number, but that's the number that people keep referencing. And this is why the Bitcoin halvenings throughout the years, they've had and caused multiple pullbacks. Now, this is the stock to flow model. This isn't the greatest indicator of the halvenings. Actually, I thought this had it on here and it doesn't. Oh, shoot. Regardless, no, there it is. That's the halvening when the color changes from blue to red, when it goes all the way from 0 back up to here. There it is. So if we zoom in on these days, this is the pullback that people are talking about, and it even looks ridiculous here. In the past, we have seen 30% days drawdowns that have happened after the halvening. Now, welcome to crypto. 30% drawdowns is not the newest thing in the world. It's something we've seen in the past and we'll see in the future. But for the most part, you can see me like not caring. I mean, every time we've gotten around a halvening, you see what happens on the right side of that curve. Now, it's not that history is going to repeat itself, but history does damn sure rhyme. Shout out Josh Olowicz. So we're like here in these bellies, right? We're about to be at the beginning of these runs. And you can see. So you're going to sit there and sideline yourself hoping for a 30% pullback, right? This went from 755 down to like 500. That's a pretty big pullback. It definitely is. And here's another one. Big drop. I think that was the COVID crash. And it doesn't even show the wicks. But you get the point. The point is, everyone says, oh, the halvening, there's volatility at the halvening. It's gonna go down. Sure. But in my eyes, price has been going up into resistance while Barry Silbert dumped magnitudes of more Bitcoin on the market, more than what the miners can do. So maybe the miners can come out, but miners' all-time reserves right now are like at the lowest they've ever been. Or not the lowest they've ever been, but they're damn low. And I don't think it's just going to blow out. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's over and it really is over and we do a 30%. But to be honest with you, I've been waiting a long time for this happening. We drop down to 50. I'm just going to buy more. And it's not that this is financial advice. This is an art show, but that's my mentality. Maybe I'm wrong, but the thing is I don't want to just keep crushing new all-time highs and be sidelined. Yes, you can always get in. Yes, there's always another shot. It's like Pfizer. But anyway, moving on. Ethereum, we broke the channel walk. And I got a lot of crap for this chart. And it played out to a T, so I want some clout. Hit the follow in the YouTube or the Twitch. It's played out to a T. I love Ethereum. I'm kind of an Ethereum maxi, but I also like Bitcoin and a bunch of other shit. But the point is when you have these type of style runs, you can't sustain them no matter what you do. And they have to cool off. Otherwise, we're talking about like $100,000 Ethereum by the end of the year, and that's just not a projection that can happen. It's not how liquidity theory and rainbows, whale theory and all that works. Markets just can't do that. Now, that being said, I think Bitcoin, we're going to go into this halvening, and I think eventually we're going to go up, and then eventually Grayscale is going to bleed out sometime in here. Like I said, we don't really know. So if Bitcoin breaks out and goes up, I don't suspect we're going to finish this fractal. I really don't. Now, we may come down and kiss 3,000 again. Sure, whatever. It's going to suck. But you're used to Ethereum kind of like stagnating at this point. And it just is what it is. But, you're looking for your nuke. We did get a nuke this week. The SEC did move to sue Uniswap in bid to hobble the fast-growing DeFi sector. So I think Gary's trying to get a shot in at the DeFi exchanges because it kind of goes back around like kind of their chokehold on the central exchanges. And that's fair. Not really. It's not fair at all. But it's something he's going to take a shot at. Now, with that being said, I'm not really betting on Gary to get a win. Ripple whooped his butt. Coinbase, shout out Paul. They've been whooping his butt. He's not getting wins really anywhere. He can slap Kraken on the wrist every once in a while, but guess what? Jesse keeps trucking. But the one thing you have to realize with whales, even if it's big news or not new, a nothing burger, they will act on it. And they will scare you to make you think it's not a nothing burger. And that's exactly what Uniswap did here. Uniswap pumped like crazy, went into a BART kind of session, and then pulled back on the news. And you can see the whales moving right here on this whale print cluster. Bam, 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 bam. And now we're hitting into the reversion bands on white candles with pink RSIs. I think we're going to get a bounce. Now, with that being said, there's a double pivot here. 7.9 to 8.2. Your boy Pix is watching that one too. We've been talking about it. We may get down to that pivot and kiss. But, truth be told, I don't really know how Uniswap's set up. Maybe they actually are going to go to zero, but I'm not betting on Gary to take that to get a win. So with that being said, I think we're going to get an actual rainbow bounce here. All the things are lining up so that the probability is in our favor. White candles into reversion bands, I get real excited and start paying attention. So we'll see. We have to have volume to support this to show back up and show a floor, and then we can start crawling back up, and it'll be a pretty crazy crawl back up because there's a lot of people stuck in this chop. But it is what it is. So another thing, speaking of SEC and lawsuits and everything else, Sam Bankman-Fried has filed another notice of intent to appeal his conviction of his 25-year sentence for the collapse of FTX. So, you know how I normally follow the Bitcoin countdown? I started figuring out what's the countdown of 25 years. So, your boy SBF has got 9,000 days left, and about 1,300 weeks, almost 300 months. So, if you want to put it on paper for what that guy did, it's kind of nice to see it. Bitcoin happening in like 8 days, and Sam Bankman-Fried walking out of jail in like 9,000 days. So, speaking of jailed people, Do Kwon trial is actually happening right now, and this is kind of actually related to current markets because Do Kwon is rolling on Jump. So, let me throw this tweet up in the chat real quick. Yeah, Fletch, I agree. I don't think 25 was enough, especially because they threw out the other charges for government bribery. And you don't throw out charges unless they're going to like live the rest of their life in jail. So, especially if he gets like any, I hope if he does the full 25, I'm kind of okay with that. But if he gets out like in 12, I'm going to be ticked. But anyway, the Terraform Labs trial, which is the Do Kwon Luna scandal, Jump Trading was involved. So Jump Trading's had a little bit of smoke recently, but they've actually shown they were involved with a bunch of this. So we might see Jump get actioned by law. I don't know. Not a lawyer, not a legal guy. But this got my attention because these guys are involved in a lot of like actual legit crypto stuff and apparently some non-so legit stuff. So I don't like it, but it is what it is, and I just at least want to keep tabs of it, especially because they were kind of involved with the Say stuff. So if Say is one of the big market makers of Say is like getting wrapped up in lawsuit stuff with the trial, I'm not too excited about it. So anyway, that's my thoughts on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Speaking of Say, we can go check it real quick. If you have any questions on these charts, please let me know in the chat, and thank you for showing up on this glorious Thursday. Yeah, Say's hitting some resistance, but it has not shown the life yet. With that being said, it is going sideways, so I'm not totally spooked yet. I think this is reaccumulation. This might be a creek that's about to be jumped, but it's going to take a lot of time to figure that out. So, anyway. But moving on, looking at some TradeFi stuff that I'm kind of keeping eyes on. Now, you remember the Ethereum channel that I was showing, right? This channel walk. Now, mind you, this is 4-hour candles, but this was the channel walk. And I do have log on. My things got moved, I guess. We lost this channel walk and it broke. And I saw this on the S&P and wanted to point it out because it's the exact setup. Now, this is a bit higher time frames, but we are seeing the exact setup on the S&P 500 right now. So I want to take note of it. I'm not calling top on S&P right now, but you saw we had the channel walker hugging it, and then we broke through, and then we went sideways. The nature is it's starting to cut to the right, but it's not just, oh God, yet, you know? And I'm not saying it will, but what I'm saying is the trend has changed. This was an unsustainable pump, and it's just the way it is. Otherwise, we're talking about like S&P 10,000 relatively shortly if we keep that type of a crazy bullish trend, which maybe it's possible. Powell, I doubt it. But regardless, we have a channel walk with a channel walker hugging it right here, and we've colored through, and now the channel walker is actually turning yellow. So take note of this, because this is kind of interesting. Not what we want to see, because trend changes like this, we've seen them take months and big pullbacks to correct. So I don't want to see this for the rest of 2025. That's going to be hard times. And then we're going to go into an election. So like, whatever. I don't want to think of 2025 being my goals of having like the stock market go crazy, but I'm keeping my eyes on it, especially because this trend is changing. While this trend is changing and rotating out, gold is pumping all-time highs. Mind you, this is a 3-day chart because gold moves stupid slow. But gold's sending. So is silver's. I don't think silver's at all-time high, but silver is cranking right now. So keep that in mind. Also, oil is cranking up again. So S&P's turning, gold's screaming, Bitcoin's screaming, and silver's screaming, and oil, like all this stuff. I'm just kind of like, I don't like it. Now, I don't have to like it, and the trend can just keep continuing up, but I'm definitely getting like spidey senses that like, hey, something's changing here, and we're going, I'm not going to ignore that we're going into an election, and the inflation CPI prints have come in hot three months in a row. So, what happens next? I don't know. But I can tell you something's changing. And if something's changing, I can at least start doing my due diligence to try to find it. So what's up, Fish and Magician? We can look at the dollar. DXY. DXY is up too. But you got to remember, like, when stuff's like people are trying to flight to safety, the dollar is like the best one, right? Not everybody likes crypto. So I haven't pulled up the DXY chart in a long time because I don't think it's as valued as it used to be. But this is my OG DXY chart that we were tracking for a long time, and it's still big curve up. It's just kind of walking through here. Some of my old trend lines, but there's a lot of other countries struggling as well. But the other countries, even when they're struggling, they fly to this. They want the dollar. Their currencies are struggling way worse with inflation, even compared to ours. So keep that in mind. What's up, Fizzin? Or Fizzan? So, something to keep your eyes on. Yes, something to keep your mind on. The other thing is the stock that can cure any disease, NVIDIA, that can do no wrongs, is starting to turn too. Now, is that a turn down or is it a turn to accumulation? No, it's just a turn. That's all I'm saying. Something has happened. We've been printing nothing but pinks and purples for a very, very long time. And we actually hit the reversion band on the machine learning side. Like, this is stupid hard to hit. We hit it, and now we've kind of rotating out. And then we've actually pulled down and tagged the channel walker tool, which I love this tool because I really like it for trend identifying if a trend is continuing or like changing. And we almost flipped this thing yellow or orange, and now it bounced. So, mind you, we have seen this type of setup before on Apple, where it went up, broke through, and then it came back up. I think Meta's done the same setup. Regardless, I'm watching this one. As much as I love NVIDIA, I love my 3080s, my 3070s, etc. I am skittish if NVIDIA tanks, because the market value of NVIDIA is really helping the S&P going up. All this tech sector stuff, Like your Mag 7's not looking so hot. Nvidia's looking hot. Intel's looking hot. AMD's looking good. Like they're supporting a lot of the market. This is an absolute ridiculous amount of market cap that helps prop up the S&P 500. So if other stuff's kind of like doing meh and this thing falls out of the freaking sky, it's bad news for the stock market overall. It will hurt a lot of people, and it'll spook a lot of positions because the last thing whales like is uncertainty. And if there's uncertainty here in this chart, they're going to walk out and just say, hey, I'm going to go sit gold or cash for a little bit. Why not? Right? It's just the way it works. Now, Nvidia, this is the other thing. If we're just pumping and we're doing reaccumulation, remember, it's just going to be chop, 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 chop. And then it does one of two things. It goes up or it goes down. So we may just be going into a reaccumulation phase. We don't know yet. And frankly, my spidey senses don't really see it yet. My spidey senses right now with like Rainbow Theory is something's happened. We have not seen a green candle on the 4 hour since January. I'm sorry, right there we did, but it popped right back up into the channel walker. And you know, channel walks, sometimes they blip out of them and then they go right back into it and then they continue on. But now it's thoroughly broken. This is way too many candles to save it. Teleporting this back up to here and continuing isn't really a thing. So they've broken sideways. So now my eyes are, I really want to know what happens to Nvidia. Because if the AI stuff can't keep pumping this tech sector, it's a really big sector to fall right now. So we got to be skittish of this for a lot of reasons. Because this is just like, it's just like when you see Bitcoin fall and it yanks all the alts down. If Nvidia falls, it's going to yank a lot of stuff down with it. So anyway, now with that being said, the other reason why I don't want Nvidia to fall, you know that like, yes, they make awesome gaming stuff, freaking awesome video cards and gaming chips for like the consoles, but this AI that they can crunch and do amazing things leads me to something I saw on Twitter today that is absolutely amazing AI tech used at the most awesome levels. So I got to show this off. And if you guys don't know Lil Yachty, this is the most legendary like rap intro of all time. And watch what happens when on the next video after this. But if you haven't seen this, I'm going to show you the original now, and then I'm going to show you the AI edited one. There's your original. Here's your remix. So if Nvidia falls, we could lose this, and I'm going to be devastated because this is just amazing. And I did some reading of how they did it. They fed AI one photo of Sam Bankman-Fried, and it pulled this off. And I'm just like, this is amazing because I automatically want to make a Carpe Noctem one, and a few others. But this is just absolutely amazing tech. But without this tech, we have to, with this use of this amazing AI technology, we must be bullish render, right? And speaking of render and speaking of TradingView charts, if you notice some of these bars are different sizes, some are thin, some are fat. TradingView dropped volume candles randomly. So this is like normal rainbow trends. This is rainbow trends with volume candles, which I thought was really cool because it actually kind of looks cool and it makes the volumes fatter on the other tools, which I didn't think it would do this, but they kind of did this, and I didn't really see them talking about it, but it's here. In your bars candles, you can do volume candles, and it splits it up, and apparently it'll convert the Rainbow Trends tools over to it as well, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm still getting used to it. I think it's neat. I don't know if I have a trading edge with it, but I still think it's pretty cool. But regardless, we have the NVIDIA conference right? We pumped into that. We dumped out of it, which was warning you guys for a long time about Ixnay on taking profits A. And now we have... Okay, well, let me edit this. There you go. Now we have the Lil Yachty SBF remix. So we'll see if this use of rendering technology will be bullish, because this dropped today. I actually saw some Michael Saylor ones too, which I thought was just awesome. But that's I think everyone talks about like, oh, meme tokens, they're fading out, da 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 da. Out of all the stuff that's like new in crypto, you know, we've seen DeFi, we've seen gaming, we've seen all, you know, memes before, blah blah blah. I think the AI rendering stuff is probably something here to stay, and I think will have long-term cycles. Like, I don't think we're going to be trading with hat in like 2030, but I definitely think this is going to stay around. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe WhipCat turns into a blue chip things. NFTs, yeah, is another one falling. But my point is I'm really bullish on the AI stuff. I really am. And I think this render one and like FET has got like some serious potential. So Fallen says, isn't like 90% of all cryptos doomed to die? Absolutely. If you go back and look at the crypto cycles of like what were the top 10 market cap coins of like 2013 and like 2015, you'll like won't recognize any of them except like Litecoin, maybe Neo, but most of the stuff doesn't sustain. That's why I'm real big on telling people like it's boring as hell, but like DCAing into Bitcoin over a long time is really profitable, is really good. Bitcoin's, I don't think it'll ever be dethroned. I think it'll always be the king. I think you could dethrone Ethereum. I think you could, but it's going to take some really sustained multiple years of Ethereum screwing stuff up and like Solana kicking ass. But every time Solana starts really, really kicking ass or something else, like it tends to have issues with like scaling, which is fine. But hopefully they figure that stuff out, because right now Solana's kind of struggling. So anyway, moving on, Apple. This is something I wanted to show to you guys because it kind of references some of the stuff we've seen over the previous charts. And I'm also still kind of haven't seen a pair of these in person yet, but I know a lot of them have been returned. If you see it, this is the setup I was talking about. A channel walk with a channel walker hugging it and then a rotation out. Now, this one hasn't super fallen down to infinity or down to zero, but the point is it rotated out of the colors. So this is what I'm watching on the S&P. Maybe the S&P does this for a freaking year or whatever. I doubt it. Maybe it does it into elections. Maybe that's plausible. Whatever. My point is this is a screenshot of the exact setup we're watching live right now. We've got like that much data, right? We're right there on some of those charts that I showed you, NVIDIA and S&P, right? So now with like talking about like whale theory, rainbow theory, right now I know the structure has changed. I'm cognizant of in the moment the structure has changed. Now I don't know what's going to happen next, but what I do know is this is off the table for now. And that this is likely some type of chop, reaccumulation, or its distribution. And if it's distribution, hell, it's probably going to come down like 50-60% on a typical stock chart or crypto chart. Pick your poison. Now, the S&P is not going to do like a 60% down draw. Knock on wood, because that would be a bad day. But that's kind of what I'm watching for. I'm giving you guys kind of like the insight. NVIDIA and the S&P are like right here. Now we have to see and play what happens next. And maybe you're a really badass scalper. You're going to get your volatility. So do your damage, do your work. Just be really, really careful, because when you've done a channel walk for so long, there's a lot of altitude below you to fall. Because you want to go recheck some of these old support resistance levels? Sure, but it's going to hurt. It's going to be way down. And, you know, fortunately for Apple, they've only drawn down like 15-16%, which is really not a lot. Be like 30% to tag these bands. But either way, not a big fan of Apple. Just is what it is. But this is a perfect channel walker chart to talk about. Anyway, so another one I've spotted. So another type of setup. Let me ease into it. If you ask Runner what's his favorite Nikes of all time, it's the purple Jordan 4s. And I thought I was going to be able to get these, and then I found out these are Travis Scott Friends and Family Edition only, and these damn things are $30,000 per foot. So these are like $60,000 shoes, and your boy Runner's never going to do that because that's just crazy. Because I would go buy a Toyota Supra definitely before this, and I'm also talking about the 1994 version of the Toyota Supra, not the new one. Albeit I would take both of them. Either of them are pretty cool. But check out your Nike chart. Now, you remember last stream when we were talking about rocket science of Wyckoff turned into like super simple, let's not overcomplicate the world. This is your down draw forming a support range or a accumulation range or a distribution range, but it's probably accumulation considering the size of this down draw from a peak, right? That's what I'm looking at. Now, with that being said, you remember if you study that, it was a really good stream, and I meant to clip it, guys. I've just been super, super busy. But there's like your resistance order block, and then this is kind of like your support, what we've got so far. And now we know that we're going to be chopping in between these for a while, right? And you even have like mid-range levels here that you could play out if you want to be like a super awesome chartist. We can do like yellows here. Yellows or oranges, doesn't matter. You can change, by the way, you can change all these Rainbow Trends colors. You can put any color you want. You want to do it grayscale, go right ahead. Thought about doing a grayscale for some colorblind people, but I can't see it right. So if you need it, holler at your boy. I'll hook you up, but you've got to tell me the color codes you want. But anyway, this is starting to look like we're going to catch an actual trend change in real time. Resistance pump, resistance kinda, and we're starting to get some buy action. And I set an alert here today, or I set an alert here last week at like $91 because I wanted to see if it would break it. And today it actually broke above it, and my alert started going off. So some other stuff started kind of like going crazy. Sorry, my phone was going off, and I'm gonna see if this does like another leg down into resistance. But I'm really interested in the Nike chart. Really interested. Because this is kind of also the setup when we talked about like those automaker trades, like the forward charts and stuff. This is the forward chart. It's just not jumped across the creek yet. And I don't think this is a creek yet. If you put a gun to my head and told me to be a fortune teller and you asked me what the moon phase was, I would think that would be it. It would be another leg. That's what I think. SOS, up and out, right? That's what we're looking for. Regardless of what the play is, if it's the all-time, I don't have to worry about the SOS right now. That's the point. I think we're catching the bottom turn. And if we get the bottom turn, that's 13% to the lower band there. That's 30% there. And that's 44% if we come close to the top. Now, with that being said, I don't care if this breaks up to 150. If I can grab it at 90 and sell it at 115, rockstar trade. You just did spot trade, double digits on a multi-huge asset, and you can take profits directly off into your Jordan shoes that you want to buy. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is just redistribution and it keeps going north, south. I don't know, but this is what I'm actively watching. So that's some examples of the stuff I used to watch live, some past examples, or I'm sorry, that's some examples of like Rainbow setups in the past, Rainbow in the present, and then how we think about doing trades in the future. Because the biggest thing about trading, you'll start studying stuff, and all these charts that are like old and already marked up and have already played out, you're like, oh my God, it's so simple. It's so easy, but people don't catch it live. What'll happen is these charts will play out and people will start talking about these ranges once we're like over here, and you're like, you idiots, you're so dumb, why didn't you trade these, blah 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 blah. I'm like, homie, you're talking about it at the SOS. Did you trade any? No, those same dudes didn't post trades in these ranges. So keep that in mind. And it's not me talking shit, it's me telling you, don't beat yourself up. This stuff's hard, but you can transfer from hindsight knowledge to in the moment. If you can start getting into the moment of like what the whales are doing, that's where like rainbow theory traders like start crushing it. Because it's not about trying to predict the future. That stuff's a crapshoot. That's at best a coin toss. But if you can actually watch what these dudes are doing, you know, you can start painting the picture that like, hey, odds are really, really on my side that this is going to go up. And if you can catch it as it turns and like in the moment what the whales are doing, you have the opportunity, like legit, to grab this stuff here and not like grab it here or grab it on the backside. Because the last thing you want to do is try to long in the middle. This is the middle's where they chop you to pieces, right? You try to long here, it retraces back, kills you, drops back down. We start doing BARTs in your BART. I mean, literally, this is like 4 BARTs in a row on General Motors, your old Corvettes, Mr. Bowtie, right? That's what we're talking about here. But in the moment, that's where like you want to get. You want to be able to see stuff in the past, figure out those examples, and then as a trader, progress into the point of being in the moment with the whales. Because if you can swim with those dudes, you can get some of what they eat. You're not going to get it all, but you can get a good chunk of it. So that's kind of how we played that one, and that's kind of what my spidey senses are saying on Nike. I think we're coming up on that bounce. So keep an eye on it. These type of things sometimes also form a spring. So if this is the actual creek and it's not going to be an additional leg, it may come down here, print a slightly lower, and then go for it, right? We don't know yet. So that's why I'm saying, like, I never tell you guys what to do. Remember, this is an art show, clearly. But you kind of want to watch this because that's how you go, like when you're trading in the moment, there's parts where it's like you kind of like don't have to pay attention, and then the stuff starts setting up and you're like, okay, I have to watch this like a hawk now, because if it does its turn, I need to drop in on it and then protect myself. So anyway, now let me catch up on the chat real quick and see what's going on, because you guys are chatting up a storm and I love it. So AI, honestly, Fallen, I think AI is going to be everywhere. I can't think it's going to be not used everywhere. Medical device, Doppel's been talking about that one for a while. Nvidia is even talking about it, like they're gonna get into the medical field. Fallen X, how hard is it to trade regular stocks versus crypto? That's a good question. For me, it's harder because the times are different. It only trades Monday through Friday during the normal market hours. It's much slower. So like I naturally, my timings of like when things turn, I have to slow that way down. Me personally, you have to be a lot slower. It's not like crypto where it's nonstop and it moves in a much blazing setup. But the beauty of it is like typically like when everything's going up, everything's going up. When everything's going sideways, everything's pretty much going sideways. When it's down, it's bad, and it stays down bad. Stock market, you can go find your setup. It's not all like kind of mirroring. Like if you look at the Ethereum and the Bitcoin and the Litecoin chart on like the 3-day candles, they're all the same, like for the most part. But like if you look at GM versus Nike, they're not the same at all. This is like this is months behind the GM chart. And I'm comparing shoes to Corvettes, right? So the beauty of the beauty of stock markets is if everything else is kind of dead, there's no volatility in crypto and it's just going sideways, you can go find cool stuff in stocks and go mess around with it. And you can get 0% fees. So it's like scalping's a little bit easier because you're not going to get crushed on 2%, 1% market buy and exits, right? And destroys your stuff. So anyway, Nexus says, I think you're right. 165 target for Nike. Nexus, I need to know what's your favorite Jordan shoe of all time. I like the 4s. I like the 1s and the 4s. But the 4s I like are really, really expensive. But there are some like actual cyan colored Jordan 1s that I do want. So Nexus likes Jordan 1s, OGs. Low top, mid top, or high top? Because it matters. How would I buy Nike and trade like I do crypto on Coinbase? Any recommendations? You're not going to get an exchange like that, but like whatever broker you want. It also depends where you live, but like it's easy to find. Like a lot of people, I'm not talking about me specifically. A lot of people just do it on Robinhood, Fidelity, Interactive Broker, Schwab, whatever. It's easy. Mids is a good call. Nexus, not gonna lie. Where would you recommend starting? Man, it's to start looking until I would do paper trading for a while, or put like $100 on an exchange and see if you can trade $100. Because if you can trade $100 to $150, that's really freaking hard to do. It takes actually more discipline because I get real careless on smaller size positions. But anyway, moving on. If you didn't know, Toyota back in 2011 to 2013 made a special edition Toyota Tundra called the Rock Warrior Edition that came with these awesome forged wheels and some other special features, and only like 4 different colors. And this is the current project I've been working on in the Discord. You see me posting updates. I just finished my lift, just finished my tire. I'm very bullish on Toyota, but wanted to let you guys know this is the predecessor to all Toyota TRD Pros. So, useless Toyota fact of the day. But I wanted to show you, while there's some other like automakers that have been struggling, Toyota is at all-time high. Toyota really bucked the trend on EVs. They're very, very pro hybrids. I think it's like for every hybrid they can make, I posted it up on Twitter a while back, they can make like 30. So for every all-electric vehicle, they can make like 36 plug-in hybrids, and then something like 60 or 80 something normal hybrids. So like the overall waste and carbon footprint of a hybrid is way better than an actual like EV with no gas motor. And it's something they can do now with their technology. So they're really pushing on like, hey, we can actually do more damage with hybrids, and their cars are phenomenal. But dude, like, look at this chart. There's your wiggly accumulation with your order blocks top and bottom, and it's just been sending it. Everyone wants to talk Tesla. Dude, Toyota is up 95% since the bottom here, and it just keeps trucking. This thing is a monster, and nobody's talking about it. So just wanted to point this out. I'm really big on like stocks that I dig. Like I dig Tesla, albeit I've been digging them for a while. Now they're kind of not doing so hot, but regardless, like Nvidia, Intel, AMD, I'm a really big Toyota nut, and nobody's talking about this stock. And this thing is crushing it. It's like same thing with like Costco. I really like Costco. Costco has been crushing it. Reaccumulation, full send. Toyota's doing the same thing, but nobody's talking Toyota charts. Just wanted to point that out. And shout out to Toyota. They dropped the 2025 4Runner this week, and it looks beautiful. And if you didn't know, they kind of did some shout outs to the original Gen 1 Toyota 4Runner. Shout out Vital. There's your surfboard. But you see the window on the back on the new TRD, on the new 4Runner? It's that window. It's that window. So it's kind of cool. That's a nod to something that Toyota does. Like when they built the first BRZs, they have the same window profile as the 2000 GTs, like the legendary car from the 60s that they made. So I thought it was pretty cool. It's cool to see a long way of them coming along. But anyway, that is your Toyota knowledge of the day, as well as the stock charts. And with that being said, we are going to get going. It's almost 9 o'clock. I'll hang out for a few more minutes in the stream. We can talk charts if you want, but for the most part, 9 o'clock, I'm going to shut this down, and then we're going to run over into the Rainbow Trends Discord, and then we're going to open up the round table to the OGs and let them talk it out. And if you have questions or want to ask me anything in particular, grab your mic. We can have a rap battle, and we can knock it out. But check us out, rainbow-trends.com. You can get the Discord link, and I just dropped the Discord link in the restream stuff. So anyway, assuming the same with Honda, I'm not as big a fan of Honda, and I know that sounds awful because I own Hondas, but the evolution of like our 2009 Hondas to like our 2015, the quality has not been as good as our Toyotas. The engines have been pretty good, the maintenance has been a little more expensive, but the little things like rubber trim has not been as good. But here's the Honda chart. Honda's ripping too. I don't think this is an all-time high. I don't think so. No, it is. Wow. Damn, that looks like crazy. That's a wild chart because that's from like 2006 sideways. Good God. 20 years of accumulation. And now we're breaking up. So there's your like 2-year SOS, and now we're gonna go, right? Maybe. I like the new Acura Type S is pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. Albeit it's a really, really expensive Civic engine, but it's still pretty cool. MR2s are good too, but man, I haven't seen an MR2 in forever. The 90s one was beautiful. RDX is pretty cool, yeah. My wife's coming up on a new one, or coming up on needing a new car, but she loves the car, the Honda she has now. She doesn't want to get rid of it, but we need to get a little bigger car, so I don't know. But if you guys have any ticker, what was in the beginning you guys asked for? Was it looks? And I may have lost it when I had to restart. Yeah, it was looks. What's up, Radium? I'll take a look. If you're still here, I'll take a look at it. If not, I'll take a look at it anyway, and I'll tell you later. Looks USDT spot. So we're on 3-day. Damn, that's a huge belly. Maybe, man, but it's coiling, I can tell you that. And that's going to get really violent soon. And the big thing about these, like, everyone like starts posting these wedges, and they're like, I've got the alpha, I can draw a triangle, the power of the pyramids, right? These damn whales will do this, and then you'll be like, it's coming, and then they'll go, what? Ah, and they'll bait you. So be really, really careful with that. I've taken many of L's learning that lesson. They will bait you to death, and they'll get everyone to flip short, and then they'll work it back up and send it, and then liquidate you to pieces. So be very mindful there. But anyway, like I said, I need to check Home Depot while I'm at it. I like how they do the ooh. That's a retest of the order block. Look at all those damn pivots. Those are hand drawn from, I think, the dailies. This is an old chart. This is when I used to mess with Doppel a little bit more. He's been quiet a little bit. Maybe we'll see if he'll show up tonight in the Discord. Home Depot. That actually looks pretty good. Maybe you can catch a bounce there. This is a lot of stuff when it breaks out of a order block. Normally it'll come back and kiss it before it goes, and it looks like we've come down to kiss it. So maybe, but if this thing breaks through, that's, hey, targets are down here. Anyway, thank you guys for showing up. Check us out at the Discord. That's where we're gonna go hang out there. Like I said, you're gonna come and have a rap battle, talk about Nintendo's charts, whatever. You got questions about Rainbow Theory, hit me up. We can do any type of Q&A there. But thanks for showing up, and I'll talk to you guys next Thursday, 8 p.m.